My dear brothers and sisters, in today's gospel, taken from John chapter 5, we see Jesus entering into a great controversy. It all begins with a miracle. Jesus heals a man who had been sick for 38 years. But there is one detail. He does this on the Sabbath. And this causes discomfort, deep discomfort, because for many, the law was more important than life itself. But what comes next is even stronger, because Jesus does not only heal, he reveals who he is. And here is the central point. Jesus does not present himself as a mere man, not as a prophet, not as a wise teacher, but as God himself. Yes, Jesus is not only sent by God, he is one with the Father. And this truth is the deepest and at the same time the most uncomfortable. Today, we live in a world that wants to unite all religions, placing them all on the same level. They say, all are true, all show a path, each one has a part of God. It's like the story of the blind men and the elephant. One touches the leg and says, it is like a pillar. Another touches the trunk and says, it is like a hose. Another touches the ear and says, it is like leather. Each one perceives a part, but no one sees the whole. And then they say, Christianity is just one more part. But here is the problem, a problem that cannot be ignored. Because among all religions, there is one that claims something completely different, something radical, something that cannot be reconciled. It claims that God became man. You can say that Buddha is not God, that Muhammad is not God, that other spiritual leaders are not God, but Christianity proclaims Jesus is God. And this changes everything, because if he is God, then he is not just one path. He is the way. That is why this truth is so uncomfortable, because it demands a decision. Either you accept it or you reject it. There is no middle ground. And in light of this, what should we do? First, be patient. Do not enter into fights. Do not impose by force, but also do not negotiate the truth. Do not adapt the faith to please the world, because the first Christians already faced this. In the Roman Empire, all gods were accepted. There was room for all of them in the pantheon, except for the true God, because the Christians said, our God is not just one more, he is the only one. And because of this, they were persecuted. They suffered. They shed their own blood. And today, perhaps we are not called to the martyrdom of blood, but we are called to fidelity. Fidelity to the truth. Fidelity to Christ. Fidelity to the faith. And never forget, Jesus is not just a teacher, not just an example, not just a good man. He is God, and he and the Father are one. Amen.